Hi, kindergartners, first graders, and second graders. It's great to see you. It's Miss Renee here for Social Emotional Learning, SEL. And today we're talking about mindful bodies. And we've already talked a little bit about mindful bodies this year. You know that when we're going to practice our breathing, we sit crisscross with straight back, hands in our lap, and our heads held high. But there's a little bit more to having a mindful body than that. And so our lesson today is going to teach us about that. By the end of the lesson today, you will know how to describe a mindful body and how to practice it yourself. So to start, we're going to do a mindful moment that focuses on arm breath. Okay, see how their arms are up in the air there? Okay, our mindful moment this morning is going to be something called the arm breath. So let's see what that is. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm 14 and I'm going to be leading your mindful moment today. We're going to be doing arm breaths. So for today's mindfulness, we're going to move our arms while we take deep breaths. If you're more comfortable to sit this one out, you can observe or put your head down and know that you are in a safe room. Let's all stand up and start to notice your breathing. As you breathe in, raise your hands to the ceiling. Hold your breath and arms up at the top for a second or two. Now as you breathe out, lower your arms down to your sides slowly. And let's try this 5 more times, taking deep and slow breaths in and out. Deep breath and arms up. Hold and breathe out and bring your arms down. And up again, taking a deep breath. And exhale, bringing your arms down. Arms up, taking a breath. Arms down, blowing out. Arms up, nice big inhale. And arms down, exhale. And one last time, arms up and down. And that's it. Thank you so much for participating.
Nice. I wasn't quite sure what we were doing there at first, but yeah, just raising your arms when you breathe in and then putting your arms back down to your side when you breathe out. Oh, how's everybody feel after doing that? Did anybody get a little bit lightheaded from breathing so much? I thought it kind of went a little fast there at the end, and I wanted to slow down because I felt like I might get a little lightheaded. Okay, so that's what we were doing, and we were being aware of our body when we were doing it. And it's important to be aware of your body. I don't know if you're like me and if you get real involved in thinking about a problem or you're just thinking about something else and you're not paying that much attention to your body, and have you ever knocked into something or knocked something off a shelf and it broke, or it's because we weren't really paying attention to what our bodies were doing in that moment. I've definitely done that. So In using mindful bodies, we can definitely be more aware of our body. And we do have a story, a Munchie and Jumpy's tale. This one is called The Messy Parade. Okay, now you know how this is going to start. A long time ago, but not too long ago, and far away, but not too far away, there lived twin rabbits, Munchie and Jumpy. They lived in a hole in a tree with their mother, and they had adventures that were wild, but not too wild. Munchie and Jumpy rushed through breakfast. Today was the end of summer parade. The bunnies usually watched from a branch in their tree. This year, they would march in the parade. Be careful, Mother told them. After the parade, take this box of eggs to Uncle Lamont. Munchie grabbed the eggs and a bag of pears to head outside with his sister. He stuffed a pear in his mouth as they walked towards the parade. What animals do you see? Choose one of the animals and walk or crawl around like it for a moment. You could be a squirrel, you could be a snake, you could be a raccoon, a lizard, a duck, a bunny, or a pigeon, a bird. Is anybody slithering like a snake? I would love to see that. Okay, when you can get yourself back together, come back for the rest of the story. Okay, and Munchie noticed all the animals and said, "Animals here, animals there, I'll enjoy another pear." And Jumpy stayed quiet and moved closer to her brother. The pigeon leader cooed loudly, and the animals formed a line. Jumpy and Munchie stood in front, right behind the pigeons. The parade was on. The animals marched around the small pond, making noises. All right, so let's look. What animals? We see pigeons, and we just heard that the noise they make is called a coo or cooing. I did my best. Bunnies or rabbits, do they make any kinds of noises? I think when they're scared they make noise. But when they're just marching in a parade, they're probably just sniffing their noses. A raccoon, again, I think when they're scared they make noise, but normally maybe they make little noises with their little hands, their paws that look just like little hands. Maybe they make little raccoon noises. Let's see, who else is there? Oh, the squirrel. Squirrels make that little chirping noise. Snakes. The duck. Quack. The lizard. I've had a lizard and it didn't make any kind of noises at all. Maybe it hissed a little bit sometimes, like the mouse and a turtle. Well, I've had a tortoise before, and he really didn't make any noises except for when he was eating. So maybe he's making eating noises. All right, so choose one of those and make the noises. Okay, so Munchie finished his pear, and he waved at crickets who were watching. "We're in the parade," he said as he dug into the bag for another piece of juicy fruit. And Jumpy was so excited she began to jump. "Look at me!" The animals looked up with wide eyes as Jumpy seemed to float. When the raccoons clapped, she jumped even higher. Jumpy forgot to look where she was headed, and she almost hit a pigeon on the way down. Okay, so pretend that one hand is Jumpy, and it's jumping around you really high. So this is Jumpy, and she's jumping around you. Okay. Meanwhile, Munchie ate his sixth pear. Sixth pear. And his steps slowed down. The box of eggs started to feel heavy in his arms. And he moved slower and slower until he tripped on a rock and rolled into a pigeon. Fortunately, he was careful to hang on to the box of eggs. Unfortunately, at that moment, Jumpy started a big jump and landed on Munchie's foot. He threw the box of eggs into the air and splat! All right, pretend the eggs are falling all over you, breaking, and you're getting all covered with egg slime. Whew. There was slippery eggs everywhere. The raccoons slid into the squirrels, who slipped into the mouse, who crashed into the duck, who banged into the lizard, who stumbled into the snakes, who knocked into Toby the turtle. Munchie and Jumpy looked around. Munchie tried to clean a pigeon's wing, but the pigeon cooed in anger. Some squirrels cried, and an old raccoon had hurt his tail. Nobody said anything to the bunnies as they tried to help. Finally, the embarrassed twins walked home. They cried as they told Mother about the parade. She washed the egg off their fur and tucked them into bed. "Will they let us be in the parade again?" Munchie asked. Mother just didn't know. "It was so embarrassing. I ate too much," whispered Munchie in tears. "And I forgot to look where I was landing," said Jumpy. "Should we do a double day?" Munchie nodded. They made tight fists. They closed their eyes. And they said the special words. Double day, make it a double day. Double day, let's try another way. And then they took 3 deep breaths. I wonder what the bunnies are going to do differently this time. They opened their eyes. Everything was a bit more sparkly. The parade was beginning. They held hands and they walked over to the other animals. Can you remember all those animals that were at the parade? Lizard, snake, raccoon. Did anybody remember turtle? Or pigeon? Squirrel? Mouse? Is that all of them? Well, just like last time, Munchie reached into his bag to grab another pear. But this time, he paid attention to the feeling in his belly and noticed he was already full. So he gave the pear to the hungry-looking raccoon. And when the pigeon cooed, Jumpy and Munchie joined the parade. Just like last time, Jumpy decided to jump. But this time, after one jump, she stopped and felt her stomach get tight, clenched up. Jumpy took a breath to relax. and jumped again, this time paying attention to where her body was landing when she was jumping. She felt her legs bend when she landed, and Jumpy looked at her feet each time, and she jumped away from the other animals. The animals watched with wide eyes, and just like last time, the raccoons clapped. Jumpy smiled and flipped in the air. That made the duck want to jump too. Then the lizard jumped. The snakes lifted themselves a bit off the ground, and even Toby the turtle managed a tiny jump. And the pigeons cooed happily. After the parade, the twins took the eggs to Uncle Lamont, and he hugged them, and he said that the pigeons, who were excited, but not too excited, had an announcement to make. The end of summer parade would now be called the end of summer jumping parade. And that's the end. Okay, so we have a few questions about the story. Munchie and Jumpy. What did Munchie not notice during the parade? And then also, what did Jumpy not notice? Now remember, Munchie was eating pears and Jumpy was jumping. So what did they do differently this next time in their do-over? Did Munchie eat as many pears? Did Jumpy land on anybody? And the way that they were able to do things differently was paying attention to their body. And that's what we do when we sit in the mindful body. We're just paying attention to our bodies. Okay, and I think that once we get back into school, which is really soon, we're going to be able to practice that. We're going to be able to practice paying attention to where our bodies are, especially when we're lining up and we're lining up on the dots to keep 6 feet apart. We're going to have to really pay attention to where our bodies are and that we're standing on our own dot and not bumping into anybody else. Definitely not jumping and probably not eating 6 pears. That's a lot of pears. Okay. So the bunnies were knowing that the animals were getting upset with them. Does anybody remember what the pigeons did to let us know that they were upset? I didn't even know that pigeons could coo in anger, but that was one of the things that happened to show that they were upset. And then Jumpy was jumping around so much. What was it that made her not pay attention to her body? Was she maybe too excited? I think I've done that before. I think I've been so excited that I've just rushed ahead of somebody and cut into line and just not even noticed. Yeah, but when she had her do-over, she paid attention. She watched where her feet were landing. And she made sure she was jumping back from the animals. What made Munchie stop paying attention to his body? Well, we know Munchie by now, right? We know that Munchie is motivated by food. He likes food. And sometimes he goes a little overboard with the food to the point where he doesn't feel good anymore. So that helps him pay attention to his body. But if he can start to notice before he eats too much, before he's going to feel sick, and then he stopped himself, just like he did in the second part of the story. And could you tell if Jumpy's feelings changed during the story? And if you could tell, how could you tell? You can go back up and look at the last picture. Right? I mean, who feels like doing a flip in the air when they're not feeling in a good mood, right? So we could tell that Munchie was feeling in a really good mood from that flip in the air. Okay, so what is a mindful body? Look at the bear in the picture. Now, if his little paws could reach the floor, his feet would be on the floor, or he could sit crisscross. He's got his hands in his lap, his back is straight, his head is straight up, and he's got his eyes closed. So here are the tips. Feet flat on the floor. If you're not sitting where you can put your feet on the floor, you can sit crisscross. Let your body know that it's going to sit for a while. Hands on your lap. Straight back. And if you're leaning against a chair, make sure that you're not leaning too far back. Make sure it's a comfortable, straight back chair. And if it's not, you can just scoot to the front of the chair and just hold your back straight. Relax your shoulders. Now remember, you can take a deep breath in and let the shoulders fall. To get our shoulders relaxed. And most of us can do that 2 or 3 times and really let the shoulders get relaxed. And then you always have the option of closing your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. And we like to keep it a safe space. So I always keep my eyes open so I can see what's going on if you have yours closed. But if you don't want to close your eyes, you could just pick a spot to look down on the floor. And that's mindful body right there. Now, the thing is sometimes your mindful body can look a lot like your normal body. Like right now, I probably look like I'm fairly in mindful body to you. But I'm going to call this normal body. And I wonder if you guys can figure out what's the difference between mindful body and normal body. And I'll tell you what it is to me. I think that when I'm in a normal body, it's like I am now. I'm sitting in the position of a mindful body, feet on the floor, hands in my lap, nice straight back, my head's nice and straight. I like to picture this string pulling my head up to the ceiling. So I look like I could be in a mindful body, but I'm talking with you all. And like if I was out for coffee and talking with a friend, my body would look pretty mindful, but my attention would be on the conversation. Like right now, my attention is on the conversation that I'm having with you all. Okay, when I'm in mindful body, I'm really just paying attention to my body. So all my focus and all my attention is on my body. In my normal body, I can keep my body, in a good position, in a good posture, but I'm probably doing something different. Like I might be reading or writing or, working on a project. If my attention is not on my body, it's not a mindful body. It's just a normal body. For some of you, I wonder if it was hard to stay in your mindful body. Do you feel wiggly when you try and stay still? It's totally normal, by the way. Totally normal. And it's okay. Just keep practicing your mindful body because there are times where it will really benefit you in school. It will help you pay better attention. When you're sitting in a mindful body, do you notice anything new? Do you notice any sounds that you didn't notice before? Or scents, sights, smells, touches, anything that you can notice in your senses when you're in a mindful body? And then how do you feel after getting into a mindful body? How does that feel? Okay, so what I would like you to do next time, if you would love to draw a picture of you or an animal, maybe an animal from the story, I would love to see a picture of a snake sitting in a mindful body. You can draw a picture. I'd love to see a picture of you sitting in your mindful body. Some of you have already sent me pictures of you sitting in your mindful bodies. So I would love that if you would do that. And also, I'm going to throw a challenge out to you. I'd like to challenge you to see if you can pay attention to your teeth, your toes, and your ears over the next week. Just when you're going through your day, just check in with your ears. Do I feel anything in my ears? Just check in. Check in with your toes. And check in and see if you can feel your teeth. It's a little strange, I know. And hopefully I'll get some nice drawings from you all. I would love to see those. It's been great getting to meet even more kindergartners last week. I got to meet Faith and Raina and Romeo and Josias and Olivia and Dax and so many more of you. And it was just awesome to get to meet you kindergartners. And we'll be meeting again face to face really soon. So have a great week, everybody. Practice getting in your mindful body. Practice paying attention to parts of your body that you don't normally pay attention to. And I will see you next time. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good week.